From the Collection Garage, this is the Michael Jordan 623 project. My name's Jeff. I'm a data analyst tracking Michael Jordan cards from his Bulls playing years. I picked 623, actually more like 800 of the most relevant Chicago Bulls Michael Jordan cards that I track data, prices, pops, everything on. And I write a weekly Substack on, so check it out in the description below. Today, pretty important episode here is we're going to run through a few different worst 100 lists, and this one is going to be for the worst gem rates out of this Michael Jordan 623 project for any card that has been submitted 1,000 times or more. So any of your common very ubiquitous cards, junk wax era base cards, things like that, you're going to see on this list. So it's going to be good for you if you're a complete degenerate Michael Jordan card collector like I am, to get an idea of what these gem rates are, how many PSA 10s there are, and what the gem rates too. So some different stats like that we're going to go through, but just to kind of see them all in relation to one another. So that's what we're going to be doing in this episode. I will be having a couple more where we look at two different groupings of the same idea. So the worst gem rates for cards submitted, I believe it is 201 to 999. So this is going to be a lot of inserts and maybe rare base or whatever, but that one's actually probably my favorite one. So check that one out, because it's going to have most of the inserts that we know and love in it, and then you can kind of see where they stand with one another in terms of how gradable they are, at least from a PSA 10 perspective. And then we're going to do obviously the rare cards. So anything up to 199 submitted to PSA. That one will be just to kind of look at, a lot of the eye candy and whatnot, and see where the mega girls stack up with one another in terms of how many PSA 10s there are, what their gem rate is, and which one has the worst. Spoiler alert, there'll be a lot of 84 star in there, and things like that. So so check it out. So let's get started. From the Collection Garage, this is the Michael Jordan 623 project. I'm Jeff, and I'm a data analyst, and I'm going to go through the 100 Michael Jordan cards with the worst gem rates for any cards sent to PSA at least 1,000 times. So your common cards, all of these are going to be ones, if you're a Jordan card collector, that you've seen before, you might want to get. So I'm going to give you all the data here to give you a sense of where these cards stand in relation to one another. Any of these cards you can look up on any number of platforms, even PSA itself. You can look up the pops and kind of get a sense of the gem rates for it, or you can look up on Alt, Card Ladder, whatever, and get those figures. But what you can't do is see where that stands in relation to all of these other cards. So that's kind of what this is going to aim to do. And I'm going to have two other versions of this 100 worst gem rates list. We're going to do it with some more uncommon cards, so cards that were sent in 251 to 999 times to PSA, and then the more rare cards, so anything up to 250 submissions, and do top-down lists from there as well, to give you a nice full picture of where all these cards stand in relation to one another. I don't have prices on this. I'll probably discuss a few of them here as we go, but if not, you can kind of look those up too. I do want to point out that I have my Substack linked here below. It is a paid blog where I kind of go through different topics every week or so on Michael Jordan cards. Obviously very niche. So if you're into that, it's a cup of coffee a month. I really recommend that you give that a try. You can even get in it for free just to get the sneak peeks. We'll have little teases in there for those that want to just kind of get a sense on if they want to take a dive and purchase it. But I'd really support your support on that if you find it useful. So yeah, that's my spiel there. In any case, let's get going here. I've got the 1995 Ultra Double Trouble leading off the list here with an 8.6% gem rate. Just to give you an idea, I ran the numbers here for every one of the, it looks like I've got 799 cards in my 623 card project. The average gem rate on those is 12.4% for all cards combined. So give you a little sense there. So every card you see on here is below average, even though it's got a nice little green tint there. So just keep that in mind. Speaking of green tint, the rank 99 here, the Topps Chrome, this card greens like the dickens. It's tough. I've got one in a PSA right now, and I really they send you the pictures of your cards as it's in the grading process, and it looks a lot greener than I remember sending it, but it probably was. Whatever. Anyway, moving on. We're moving down here from 8.6% to 8.2 down to the Supreme Court. Let's get this thing moving here. There we go. Work. 95, we got the Topps Archives down at a 7.8%. I need the Skybox. The top 10 from 1995 Hoops. Interesting little fuchsia purpley card there. And then one of my favorite cards as a kid down at the bottom, the 92 Ultra Dunk Rank, which I always was like, why? How is Jordan not number one in the dunk rank on that? What was he in there? Like 16, 14? I can't really see it. I forget. But that card's been running up too. That's another card that there's so many of them. Yeah, 7,418 submitted. And the price just keeps cooking because it's such a cool looking card. So maybe I lost my chance of ever getting a 10 on that one. We'll see. 98 UD Choice Blue. Nice looking card there. Only 101 10s. The price on the Star Quest have gone up to quite a bit. Got the 97 Finest. I like that. Always like that set. Big 1997 collector. One of my favorite years. One of my biggest years collecting. You can see we got some old jug wax there at the bottom. 16,000 submitted of the 91 Fleer. This card ranked pretty high in another video that I recently did on the 100 most submitted Michael Jordan cards. So that's another one you can check out to get a quick glimpse of just how many more of some cards that were printed than others. And when you get to the top of that list, it's amazing how many more cards the number one is versus the number two, and so on. It's just crazy. So you can check that out for a card that again is running like some of these others. So a lot of madness going on the markets these days. So stay safe out there and maybe sell some of them because we'll probably be able to get them back. Got the 98 Ultra Gold on there, 6.8%. 97 Stadium Club, 6.3%. I know this one's low because it's so glossy. I remember opening packs of this, and they come kind of scratched out of the pack because it's got really sharp corners and a glossy finish. So I imagine in the manufacturing process, when they mix them all up to randomize them, that probably they scrape up on one another. 74, I've got this one in a 10. I had it graded too, so I am a 6.1%er here. That's pretty cool. Only 68. This card's been running too. I'm not ready to sell it. I kind of like the hold on this one, even though it's been good, over $1,000 last couple of sales. I also got a 10 on the one below it, the 98 Topps, and I got rid of that one too early. So whoops. That stinks. I do not have the Ultra 97 in a 10. I do have it in a 9 though, so that's pretty good. That card's been cooking as well. Let's see. Getting into the fives now. We've got the 96 Ultra there at rank number 67. Year before, the 96 Metal. This one I talked about in the other video too. The number 68 here on the list, the Metal 241. 5.5% gem rate. which is a little bit lower than a lot of the other metal cards for some reason. So that might be one to, if you really want to get a 10 or high grade, just to buy the slab. All right, so some usual suspects here. All these Upper Deck award winners came scratched too, so you can see why it would be a lower gem rate, although 5.1% might be a little bit higher than I recall. I'm also just realizing my color scheme looks like it reset on each page, so it got a green 5.1%, so take that for what it is. The Fleer team leader, always terrible centering on this, as well as the 89 Fleer. That's actually interesting that both of these are the same gem rate. The super common 89 Fleer 21 versus the 92 team leader. 27,000 to 1 ratio there for submissions from one to the other, but the same gem rate. So that's interesting. Got the 96 Finest. That one always had centering issues. This one is the with coating version, so this does not include those without. With the peel off. The 95 Finest Mystery. I have this card. I've got another video I'm going to do where I unpeel this. I have it peeled, so I actually just bought it peeled. And I got it back, and you always worry if you buy this unpeeled if someone kind of took a little sneak peek at a corner. And who knows, maybe they did, but it looks great. It doesn't look like it's has any signs of being open, so we'll see how that goes. Move on here. Got the Beam Team. We've got the 90 All-Stars. That one has notorious centering issues. The Beam Team, 4.2%, also has centering issues as well. Got the Nike Promo, the SPX. And it looks like I'm missing a photo for the die cut number 5. Ooh, that's a good looking card too. I'll have to update my data on that. Z-Force Premium, a couple of premiums, and then a 1990 Hoops, Fleer Hardwood. We're getting now down into the 3s. Interesting that 90 Hoops is as bad as it is. I know it's got the gray font and whatnot, and yeah, actually now that I remember, even this one here too, you can tell has centering issues. 23,000 sent in though, so hard to grade, but there's so many of them that you can still find a 10 if you want. Moving down in here, the Living Legends Dark card, tough to grade. That season's best as well. Is got the foil. Silver Spotlight the same, and the Hardcore Heroics is one that I know I collect. I try to get a lot of these cards raw that look really good on the back to send in. Got a few in right now, just because even if I get an 8, it's going to be worth either worth it or a wash, depending on what I paid raw for it. But this is where I consider it to be like, if you have a gem rate worse than this, man, that's a tough card. So everything we see from here on, I would consider super, super tough to ever hope for a 10. So the 93 first year refractor, yeah, that's a tough one. Not just the greening that you're definitely going to run into nowadays, but the centering on this is tough. It came with dimples, lots of issues with that. Flare Showcase, kind of the same idea. It's very tough to get a Flare gem. Center Stage is down there. That price has been running. Scoring Kings. I compared these two in the last video as well. With the Scoring Kings, the gem on that is going for like 22.5K versus the Center Stage, which is at like 4.5, 5K. I think maybe 4,800 or so was the last sale. And the only difference really, all these stats kind of are basically the same, what you're looking at here, but one has lightning and one doesn't. So that's the difference. Another Beam Team. What was the other Beam Team? Was it the members only. Let me go back here. It was the members only. Okay, I missed that. So for some reason, the members only is a little bit of an easier grade than just the regular beam team. Interesting. I don't know that it's appreciable, maybe just random, but the 93 Dynamic Dunks. This card, again, another older insert that a lot of people love. I think it's been running and only 37 tens and a 2.7 gem rate. That's a tough card to grade. It's right there with the 95 beam team, which, as you probably know, is a very intricately lasered card that has all these different edges and corners on it, inside it, that make it very prone to chipping. I imagine penny sleeves did a lot of damage to these cards back in the day. Warp Speed is next, and then just the 95 Fleer metal. Okay, oh, this was the one I was thinking of, I think, earlier. For some reason, has a very low gem rate, and I didn't check the prices on this, but actually, I think I did. I think it was like 1,700 or so for a 10. You can look that up. 95 metal, no, 440. Is that right? In any case, that might be worth looking for just a 10 there, if I'm not mistaken. And if I'm wrong, then so be it. But versus a lot of the other metal cards, that one has the worst chance of getting a 10 and presumably a 9. All right, into the 25s here. You've got the 88 Fleer, that third year Jordan. We've got the gold medallion, Ultra 1995. That one, obviously foil all around. And then the total D down there at the bottom, 2.2%. We are really tough on that one because it's obviously got a black border, so very prone to chipping, and you can see it all, but also the centering on that was pretty rough as well too. The Metal Universe, no one wants to give this card a 10 because it's worth a good amount of money. It also, again, has got some foil chip issues. I did have one of those graded 9 before, so I think you do have a shot at a 9, but a 10 is pretty tough. Another award winner hologram there at the bottom, but the number 18 here, the Upper Deck MVP hologram. This one I know has gone kind of the last sale or so went, I want to say like 10 grand or so for a PSA 10. So that's interesting. Cool looking card. I try to look for a good looking raw of that as well, just because that'd be a cool card to add. All right, 98 metal. We've got the 95 Meltdown from Skybox. We've got Kenner starting the lineup. The base EX2000, and then the power and the key bring us pretty much all of these are about the same, 1.7 to 1.5% gems. And we get into the top 10 here. We start off with the Ultra Inside Outside. Got the second year beam team, the 93 down to 1.1. There's our rookie at number 8, 1.1%, 333 tens as I have it. I'm sure that's changed a little bit since I last pulled this data. And right below that, the second year, slightly worse gem rate for the second year Jordan, which is interesting. And then we get to the 97 Skybox EX2001. I don't really know what the deal is with this one. I don't know if like the little embossed Jordan got chipped up, if it was in the foil. Let me know below like what the major issue with this card is. I have a 9. I can't see anything wrong with it. And I looked at other cards as well, and I don't know. I don't know what the difference is there. But as we go into the top 5 now, you'll notice a couple 80s Fleer. You're about to see some more 80s and 90s Fleer going into the bottom here. So the joke I like to make is that Creed Bratton from The Office used to work at Fleer in the 80s as quality control, because let me tell you, he was not doing a very good job centering The big issue, I think, pretty much for all of these, I guess maybe not the sticker. The sticker would be the gum and the wax issues. So Creed Branton had you on that as well. But we go from a 0.7% to a 0.1%. The worst, so the 1988 Fleer sticker, number 7, is your worst gem rate for any Michael Jordan card with at least 1,000 submissions sent in. It's pretty much the worst for any card. Now, there are several that are rare enough that only, a few have been sent in and none of them have gotten 10s. But I think for all intents and purposes, when you have 14,168 sent in and 12 of them are 10s, that's, god awful. And that is the worst. So way to go, Creed. I think even though that is the case, it does kind of make it interesting, because what if these cards all had like a 10% gem rate? How much would they cost, these older Jordans, including the rookie? I feel like that has kind of helped the Jordan market, in that people have probably moved from trying to get a PSA 10 of these earlier year cards and moved to some of the inserts in either the early 90s, which is going on a lot right now, or the later 90s or whatever. But people have pivoted from that because it's just not attainable to get a PSA 10 in any of these cards, so interesting little thing to think about. So in any case, that's it. That's your 100 worst gem rates for Michael Jordan cards. Give me a subscribe on this channel here. I'm going to be pushing some more of these and then tracking my collection as well, that kind of goes through the data that I use. And that all comes from the Substack. So give that a follow in the description below. Again, you can get in for free at first and just read the sneak peeks. But I do put a good amount of work in that and prep in that to give collectors some good information to help guide their their next moves. Obviously, the data doesn't tell you everything, but it gives you good sense of where to go. So we'll leave it at that, and under 20 minutes here, so that's pretty good. We'll be back with another one as we'll move on to the 100 worst gem rates for what I'm calling uncommon cards, so cards that were submitted 251 to 990 times to PSA. So a lot of the fun inserts are going to fall into that section, which will be fun to review and kind of see where they stack up in relation to one another. So that's it for today.